So in nutshell, that's what I would in present tonight.
This one, I guess that's for us. Thank you, Ahmed. Okay, questions? And I'm going to bring you the microphone. I know one question to start, and then we'll circle back.
Okay, Mike. Yes. We have a park here with the pathway.
Yes,
There's 8 standard lights. There were only 2 working a month ago. A crew came, now there's none working. It's dark, dark, dark. Okay?
Okay.
So you should start that.
I'll talk to my parks people. I've got to make Blackberry.
I'm not allowed to ask you a question, but what's the progress on that project?
Yes, they have.
Okay, let me point out something here. A few of us here are owner in this building upstairs. And I admire what you guys are doing, but we're being ignored here. I don't know if I want to elaborate on it, but we're on the fence between Leaside and Thorncliff. We are owners, and 3 o'clock in the morning, people are playing soccer in the park here. Officer Matt,
Yeah.
I've lived here 20 years. You guys never showed up any of the time I called to solve the situation in our parking lot. 20 years. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
So Matt, there have been some concerns about, I know there was some vandalism at the tennis club.
Yep.
And some drug dealing that's being, that people think is going on, believe is going on. And I know you do have 2 officers in the community pretty much at any one time, right?
So we do have 2. The problem is they're not here at 3 o'clock in the morning because they're on foot. So just going back, when we had the vandalism at the tennis courts, it actually happened twice. And someone set the wind nets on fire around the tennis courts. So we did have officers that attend. I actually received 2 emails from people in the community saying, thank you, we see the officers sitting out there. And what we did is we asked our officers, if you're completing a report on your computer in the car, go park over there. Park there, just let people see you there. Let these jerks that are causing the damage, let them see you there. And the information that we had for the longest time was things were quieting down. I'm concerned when you tell me that there isn't enough high visibility policing between, say, midnight and 6 in the morning type thing, or 10 till 4 type thing. So this is some of the takeaways, and this is why we have these meetings. And I will go back to the division and say, I need the uniformed officers. They're in a scout car at 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, when they can, to come over and sit there and do their reports. Now, the only thing I was just going to ask you is, I'm of the opinion that this was a bigger problem during the nicer weather, right? When they were like playing soccer on the baseball diamond or drinking, right? Not so much in the winter, is that correct?
We can enjoy our balconies because
Okay.
of the noise.
Yep.
We had an agreement originally with Councillor Pittsfield, I don't know where she went, but anyway.
Yep.
When they built that baseball diamond, that everything would stop at 10. Now, where you're talking about kids, those are grown men playing at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
In the dark.
Okay.
As far as the officers, I'm not talking about having officers sitting there, but when there's 4 cars there and I go down to tell them to get out and they try to run me over and I call the cops and they don't show up,
Okay.
some trouble's gonna happen at one point.
I agree.
I'm too old to deal with this.
I don't know that really age is relevant. I think anybody that has to approach somebody at 3 o'clock in the morning has to fear for their life is an issue. I understand. I hear what you're saying.
They never came. in
Okay.
20 years.
Again, I don't know. We're talking about an isolated event, and I apologize. I'm sorry. I don't know. But clearly what you're telling me and what I'm taking from this is that we need to have some more officers, high visibility officers down there, and pushing back on these people that are causing a problem at 3 in the morning.
Answer the calls, that's all we want.
And that's a very fair question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And once again, municipal licensing and standards, if you have any questions, they deal with pretty much all your apartment issues, all the, if you have a complaint that you're not, you know, you have repairs that aren't getting dealt with, you've put in your work order, or if there are cleanliness issues. I know we've done some major audits of the buildings in Thorncliff. So if you have any issues or questions, Gabor's here to answer those. And I do apologize, Michael's the big wig for facilities. Although he's in Parks and Rec, he's the facilities guy. But I know you'll talk to Jim Mackay, I know. Yeah.
John, I just wanted to ask Matt's question.
Okay.
I know I spoke to you earlier, you said it's a bigger problem in the summer. It's a different kind of problem in the summer.
Okay.
And I feel like you do, because we live in the townhouses here. So we're also owners who feel like we're ignored. And the summer problem is the kids playing soccer in the park, or adults playing soccer in the park, or outside drinking. The winter problem is more car related. So they will speed up and down Leaside Park Drive, or they'll do donuts in the parking lot, or they'll sit in their car, maybe 3-4 cars at a time, doing I don't even know what, and you surmised something there. So I hope that answers your question, and I'll talk to you after.
Well, thank you very much. I have a question for you and by extension for Mr. Amadou San. Both of you have talked about, first, congratulations, you got some grant to look after this area. But listening to you, I had the impression that you are striving to have a hub here. And Mr. Amadou San also spoke about the same problem. Are you duplicating? Are you working together? And also, can you just enlighten us what areas you have identified that we need for this location, like Thorncliff neighborhood, which will be most helpful? Thank you.
So thank you for that question. We are working together with TNO. We're working with the health center. We're working with the city's dental clinic. We're working with the legal clinic. We're working, as Ahmed said, identifying some other agencies like the community living that provides services for people who have a disability. There's another organization that deals with seniors. We've got the Mike Guerin Hospital is also part of it. Downstairs is a dialysis clinic through St. Michael's Hospital. So there's a lot of services, and we meet regularly, and we're looking at the target. And we're looking at, St. Michael's downstairs, I think they have about, I'm not sure, 25,000.
About 25,000 square feet.
Yeah, and we're upstairs, we're looking at about
70.
70,000 square feet. So we're talking about a lot of space with, doctors coming in there, a lot of services. So we do not want to duplicate. We're planning, and and we're consulting, and we're engaging the Ministry of Health. So there are a lot of people that are working really, really hard to make this happen. And it would be an incredible opportunity for this neighborhood because these are not easy services to get together. And it's about everyone coming together with a vision. And residents will be part of it in helping us to design that, because it's also a place not just for services but for residents to come together and have festivals and special events and programs for children and seniors. So this is a wonderful opportunity. So I hope I answered your question. Thank you.
Pat, did you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question, not for the MLS guy. Is it only when somebody calls that you go and visit the building?
So the question was, does the MLS staff only visit buildings as a result of a phone call, or are they more proactive?
Well, both, to be honest with you. We have a team called the MRAB team, Multi-Residential Audit Building Units. They have a preset list. They go out, they audit buildings, and then they put them on the list, and then they go out and audit them one at a time. However, if that building is not on the list and you do have a problem, you can call 311, and we will send an officer out to take a look at it.
When I call 311, you know what is the answer I get? Do you live in that building? What's your name? I don't live in the building, but I went around to the building in the community. I think I would like to see lots more inspectors inside the buildings. You look at some of the buildings in Thorncliff, but I would like to see you all be proactive and visit, especially 35, one elevator is working. I walked yesterday from 49 Thorncliff from the 21st floor down. I checked the elevators, something is wrong, definitely wrong. So something needs to be, especially in this community, 6, 8 mileposts, 27 Thorncliff, 246 Grandstand. You know, it was like, I couldn't believe that I'm in town, holes in the ceiling. In 22 Thorncliff, the landlord put a wall on top of a wall. Is this possible? Will they get a permit from the city? What if there is a fire? I mean, something is wrong, and who is looking after it to see what it's done?
No, understood. If I can meet with you after this, and you can give me all those addresses, I would not mind looking into all of them, and I can get right back to you. Yeah, not a problem.
Perfect. Thanks, Pat.
Oh, hi. My name is Bill Catalano. I live in 85 Thorncliff. First of all, I'd like to thank John for organizing these meetings. I find them very informative because it gives everybody an opportunity to ask questions. But when talking about these 150 odd communities, I'm very interested in, you say there were 40 identified or however many that needed upgrading or needed improvements. I mean, each community has their own unique needs in terms of the age of the population, et cetera, and going forward, how are we going to manage and control the progress made in each community? Because some communities have been underserved, I guess is a nice way to put it. And I see that there's some organization and structure to change that. So will a report be produced that the councillors can see to make sure that they're getting a fair piece of the pie kind of thing?
I actually want more than just a fair. I want more than my fair share.
Yeah, he wants a lot of.
So I think things are on the right track, and I guess as long as there's continued follow-up and a publication of how we're progressing is very important, because for some reason the communities have been allowed to reach the state that they're in, and now we have to make sure that everyone is being properly recognized.
Right, thanks, Bill. Excellent point. So a couple points I'll make on that. So with this poll funding, it helps. It's not the be all and end all, but it really does take community involvement. And I've been saying this since I was elected, and it's nice to see a lot of familiar faces, people that are very active in the community. I know Pat's been, how's many years it been, Pat? 40? Pat's been sort of a one-person army for a number of years, and there are a lot of familiar faces now, but the whole idea is getting the community involved, right? And I always, and I make this joke, and I don't know if I should make it, seeing as it's going to be on the website, but there could be a hurricane in Thorncliff and nobody calls. Someone has a cold in Leaside, I get 6. Right? And it's a bit of humor, but it's a reality. And you know, that whole adage, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So I do encourage people to call and to complain and to be active and to look for ways to build the community. Right? And so it's really, it's as Costanza was saying, it's really that teamwork and holding me to the fire. Absolutely. And I hold them to the fire. But we just, you know, it's great that we have, 50, 60 people here tonight. I'd like to see 200. When we have 30,000 people, I think we should have 200 people. Next question. Well, they never get a negative response from me, right? You know that. I'll come out anytime, pretty much any place. And, you did call me about a building, and we did an MRAB audit. A lot of changes have been made. Thanks, Susan. So I get what your concerns about have been in the past with the city in general, but we have a pretty good team now. So we're happy to try and address everything. Oh, you don't want, oh, you can, oh, no one lost my mic.
My question is for Parks Forestry. So this has to do with the swimming pool over here.
Yes.
So I lived in pretty much grown up in Thorncliff. Last summer was the first time that Black Bag offered swimming lessons here, and that was only decided because the side pool I think was closed. I would love to see that come back again in the summer. I thought it was great. Two things. Number one, you only offered lessons up to Ultra 5, so I'd like to see it continue up to Ultra 9. And the other thing was, there was a fee. It was fine for me, but for the community, it shouldn't be. So hopefully we can keep that going into summer.
So I will pass that on to my aquatics counterparts about that. And typically why we don't do lessons in pools and the outdoors is the season's often cut short because of rain and that kind of stuff. So, but I will pass that on to them. We do at some pools do outdoor lessons. I'm not sure the depth of that pool. If it's deep,
just the summer, and it was beach blocks.
yeah, which is what we normally do. So you can do them for 1 week. And so if you're going away somewhere or if you're doing something else, if you want to go to camp, you can. But I will pass that on.
Michael?
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Flemington area, water park is closed for 3 years. I don't know
why this
time. Flemington area, there is a water park small.
The splash pad?
Splash pad.
Water park.
The splash pad?
Yes.
Yeah, so that was, so I'm more than happy to explain that one. So that broke down, I believe, in 2013. And I can't tell you why it wasn't dealt with. When I was elected at the end of 2014, I made it a priority. And it was, I think, one of the first splash pads ever built in the city. And it was old, it could not be repaired. So it had to be an emergency rebuild. The cost of that, I believe, was $550,000. So we had to push it up the ladder, which we did. And so it usually takes, well, a year is actually quick because we have to put it through our capital plan when it's that kind of money. If it's 20 or 30,000, that's one thing. 550,000 is a major project. Everyone else got bumped. So we did get that done. We got it completed last year. So that's as soon as I could. And
When I go to some other areas, I see where facilities are very, very different, very high class facilities. Do the neighborhood pay that one?
so, and I think it was Costanza was talking about section 37. Or was that Michael? Was Michael?
There's no comparison. Why this is so?
So there's no question, like if you go to Yonge and Shepherd, where they have a lot of development, the local area gets what they call section 37 money. So when you intensify in an area, the developer is obligated to give the community money, called community benefits, okay? In certain areas, and it's unfortunate, it tends to be in the priority neighborhoods, you don't have as much development. So it's very circular, and catch-22 actually. So what happens is, certain areas of the city get millions and millions of dollars. Like downtown, where they built one building, they got $23 million in section 37 money. Other areas don't get any. So,
Go to West Mountain Finch, you will find a water park, you will damn surprised.
yeah, well, I don't know about I can't answer that.
New buildings are there that they are paying, like new buildings, they are paying development charges, I understand.
Yeah.
But there's a very old area, and the big water park, and at least 20, 30 people are working, and why is it a big difference?
Yeah, I don't know about, I can't answer about there. I mean, some of it's legacy, it's been there for a while. The other problem is, you know, you have something like the Timbrel Center, which is actually quite old and quite tired and needs a lot of rehabilitation. But the problem is there are other areas of the city, there might be a great facility at Birch Mountain Finch, but then there are other areas of the city that have nothing. So you kind of get put in that list. But in terms of the splash pad, that was moved up the list. There's a little bit of development going on. As we know, the costs go. $650,000 is coming to the community. We negotiated that. And Flemington Park will have more money coming into the community as a result of what's going on at Don Mills and Eglinton. Oh, so that's why I like people to use the microphone. Well, it was specifically, it started off about the splash pad in Flemington and why it was out of service for 3 years. Okay, that's really how it started off.
Good evening, my name is Helen. This might be a question for more than one person. but we'll ask the facilities man. So you're saying a lot depends on Statistics Canada's counting for population for a lot of things to happen. Where do you get the figure of 12,000 for Thorncliff?
90,000. So that's really more.
Yeah, that was more John's
19,
statement.
It was my statement. It's 19.
2011.
But you said a lot, it depends on the
Well,
lot
for it's
happening.
it's for
depends
the
on
facilities
census.
review. It was specific to this facility review master plan of who's underserved, who's overserved, that sort of thing.
Right.
One of the factors is obviously population.
Right.
They tell me that there are many other factors. My fear is that population would be an overriding factor. It only makes sense, especially when you already have a community center,
Yeah.
right? The 19,000 is from Statistics Canada. And I-
Well, the ward profile for the City of Toronto for Ward 26 is 64,910 in 2011. And
But that's not Thorncliff, that's Ward 26, that's Leaside, Flemington,
Exactly.
Thorncliff, yeah.
Exactly, but Leaside hasn't grown in size or probably population, but Thorncliff has and probably Flemington has. So the people in numbers have grown, maybe not the number of dwelling counts, but the number of people has grown exponentially, and this is the fastest growing area in Canada for population. So if things have to happen because of population growth, then what is the holdup?
Well, that's
What
my,
is the,
well,
you know-
the plan is, the facilities plan doesn't come out till June, but that's
Right.
my argument, is that the community has grown. But Stats Canada, that's who the agency, the city's looking at, to for these numbers.
And that's that number, that is that number.
The number
So-
is 19,000 from Stats Canada.
No,
and
it's,
that's
no,
my-
it's six, no, it isn't.
45,000 people live inside Thorncliff Park, so something is very wrong.
No, we're saying the same,
Well-
I agree. That's my whole argument. I'm saying there are more. I'm saying they're between 30, 40, whatever that number is. I'm not gonna argue about it. I'm telling you, Stats Canada told me that there are 19,000. I've argued with them. Costanza will tell you, Michael will tell you. I've had more meetings and I've showed them more documentation. Ahmed Hussein has brought documentation. United Way has brought documentation. I even have city documentation. And that's the challenge, is that the facilities people up to this point are still looking at Stats Canada numbers. And Stats Canada says it's 19,000.